Tell me a story, Joe. I'm turning this show around. We're going home.
Oh yeah. So, Daddy, tell me a story. Tales of keeping cool in the summer. We're getting towards the end of summer into fall now, so this, better tell it before we gotta wait until a whole year, right? So, first thing that came to mind, and we were talking before the show, we don't remember who even put this in there as a possible story time, but the first story that came to my mind after looking at it was my second apartment with Kelsey after we got married. It didn't have AC, and so we were living in.
Were you in Tennessee? Where were you?
We were in Idaho.
And
And
so
that's
more northern, Midwestern.
It's 50-50 whether your apartment's going to have AC where we were at, to be honest. Our first apartment did, our second apartment did not, which is why it was, like $150 cheaper per month to rent from there. Even though it's actually a fair bit bigger. So I don't like heat. I hate heat. I would much rather be cold.
Yeah.
And so we went out, and our first thing was super dumb. We bought a window unit and set it up in the middle of our apartment and had it running. Super dumb. Yeah. And we're like, this ain't gonna work.
Super dumb. Rookie mistake, I would say.
Rookie mistake. Yeah. So we took that back because we weren't allowed to have window units at the place we were at.
Oh, well, I didn't.
So we couldn't actually mount it in the window. We weren't allowed. But so what we ended up getting was one of those standing ones that has an exhaust tube, and so all we had was the
little
foot or so tray that we stuck up in the window. So it wasn't. We were allowed to have that because it wasn't something hanging out the window.
Right.
They were worried about ignoramuses not mounting a wall window properly and them getting in trouble for it. So that's why that was their logic for not allowing window units at the apartment complex. So we got that, and the box said it could cool up to 2 rooms. So we're like, okay, all right. So we had it in our living room, and we were in a relatively small 2-bedroom apartment, and so we closed the one room and we closed the bathroom, hoping enough airflow would come over to the bedroom at night. It did not. It did not at all.
Not without fans, but what? I'm gonna let you finish the story, but I got questions.
No. That's good. That's good. So what we came up with was we took a bunch of garbage bags and sliced them, taped them together, taped them to the AC, and ran it over to the bedroom and had the other end taped to a chair, like a folding chair. And so almost like some ghetto duct work. And it actually worked pretty well at keeping us cool at night. So we had at night, this was running from our living room across our living room over to our bedroom.
1-bedroom apartment?
It was a small 2-bedroom apartment, but
small 2-bedroom apartment. Okay. Jesus.
And it worked. It worked.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
And it was much cooler. And the things you do, I hate being hot.
I'm not going to argue. I mean, you did it the hard way. Kelsey says we thought we were geniuses. You kind of are, because geniuses are too smart for their own good sometimes. First question I have, Professor, why didn't you put it in your room?
So we could have, and we thought about that, but then we're like, we don't want to keep moving it back and forth between the two. It's fairly heavy. Actually, we still have it. It's upstairs, sitting in a closet, and we've pulled it out. Like we came back from the beach one year, and our upstairs AC wasn't working, and so we used it to cool off our upstairs for a while before it got fixed. So we still have it. It still works.
So you do your most important things in your room, sleep being the key one there. And sleeping hot is not good for anybody. should have put it in there. And have you ever heard of a thing called a box fan?
Yeah, we had a box fan that was sitting on the what you call it, at the end of the duct work.
I mean, I'm sure it worked. And you move that folding chair back every day or whatever you did. But there's so many easier ways to, I mean, two box fans would have pointed it right where you need it. I don't know, man. You did it. Good on you. That's hilarious. Uh,
It
as a
worked.
science fair project, what that is. I mean, it worked. It worked 100%. That's crazy. That's hilarious. Um, mine's not gonna touch that at all, right? Um, being
But
Georgia,
my
yeah.
wife put this in there. We were a very popular apartment. People would come to hang out because we had AC. Because a lot of other people, they weren't going to spend the money to buy AC, and they because you couldn't mount the wall unit, so a lot of people just went without. And so yeah, there were people would come and hang out at our place and play board games and whatnot.
Then you should have been finding used portable ACs to mark up and sell to your neighbors and make a profit. Or, you charge them $5 a night to come hang out and play cards, something. All right, so mine, we've always had central heating and air in all of our houses. I mean, it's Atlanta, right? It's vital to have that kind of thing in Georgia. And twice in the first house that we owned, I don't think it's happened since, the AC died. And the first time we had to get it fixed, second time we had to just replace the unit. Um, but both times it was last minute. I mean, there's no, it's not like AC starts going, hey, it's not quite blowing as cool. Not in our case. It was like cold, and then you woke up sweating, and that was it. It just done.
Yep.
And one case, I think it's the first time we just had two kids, and we took them to their grandparents' house in Conyers. We didn't live in Conyers at the time, so we brought them to Conyers and left them with their grandparents. And we went to a hotel room and used their AC. And then that's for one night. Then the next time we had two window units at the time. One's in my bedroom because even with central heating and air, not all ductwork is made equally, and not all houses are built for AC to get where you need it to be. And most of the time thermostats are out in the main areas, which theoretically makes the bedrooms colder. I've never had a house where it works that way at all.
Nope.
Uh, especially since you shut well, we do. We shut the doors at night, and then you got animal heat and body heat, sleep, and all that stuff. Yeah, so I always have a window unit in my bedroom. And so the second time the AC went out, I also had a window unit. At the time, my studio was above the garage. It was a finished room above the garage. And I did the TP, like the triangle hands, because it was like a angled roof. I don't know why, but so those are the two rooms. So the kids went and slept up in my studio with the AC running and a fan, and then we were in my room, of course, with the AC and a fan, and it was fine, right? Because those things absolutely work. But I think maybe there was something that was said at some point that you went, "Oh yeah, I did this genius thing with a." I just I will always put it in my bedroom first, and then let the fans go out wherever else they need to go. I depending on how to attach, because there's some nowadays that the plate will go in the window, and you can buy an extra plate, and it'll just detach from that plate, and you don't have to like take everything
Mm,
apart. But if it was like put it in, screw it in, so whatever, blah 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 blah, I could get not wanting to lug it, especially now they're on wheels and they're light. This is when you're first married, so I get it. It's not easy, but I will always go with where I sleep first, because if I don't get my sleep, it doesn't matter how cool the rest of the house is, I am not happy.
yeah. Yeah, we had something similar to your story when I was a teenager. Uh my our we had four window units. We didn't have central air up in Pennsylvania where we were living because we we had the house my dad grew up in. So, this is
Sure,
a
yeah.
50, 60-year-old house that we're living in. And so we had 4 window units, one in my parents' bedroom, one in the living room, and one in the two bedrooms upstairs. And at one point, both of the downstairs ones went out. So my parents'
Mm.
bedroom and the living room one died. And so what ended up happening is all of the kids that were still at home got shoved into one room upstairs, and my parents commandeered the other room temporarily, and we put up a blanket on the stairwell because there was a stairwell. So there were the 2 rooms, and then there was a bathroom and a stairwell. Like there was just a tiny little landing there, like really tiny, like just barely
Y'all
more.
basically tried to seal it off more or
Yeah,
less.
so we covered that up, left the windows open so that we could get some cross breeze in there, and yeah, so that
Mm.
was squishy, but we made do. But yeah, my dad, he had it running super cold all the time, like as cold as those Windows units would put out, to the point where there was a couple of neighborhood kids that were like, "Your house is freezing," and there was one that he would come over and he'd immediately walk over to our coat closet and grab one of our coats and put it on because in the middle of summer because our house was super
Yeah.
cold.
My
Um,
girls do that. I don't get it. There's a certain temperature I like, but cold is cold, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, we ran it real cold. It
um,
was
let me tell you nowadays, it is way more energy efficient to use these window units than it is use central heating and air, especially with an older house. Like we have a house that's built by late 70s, early 80s, and every room in our house has an AC unit in the window, and they're all newer, right? Newer being in the last 10 years or newer, because that means they're all Energy Star rated. And you see that tag, and it's like, 51 cents a minute, or $51 a year. And you look at what that means. Because I did that one day because we don't, I mean, I got an AC unit right here in the studio. Um, that 50 to $60 it says to run it for the year, that's on an average 8 hours a day of it running. Now,
oh.
in my and for the entire year, for 365 days. So, in now my girls' room, they absolutely max that out. I don't know what the Polar Bear Club thing they're doing, but it's cold. But the rest of us don't do that. So you're shutting it down during the winter times, whatnot. You're not spending that much, right? Um, so that's why we do it, is to keep our overall energy bill down. Even though we have a smart thermostat, it just I keep that set to like 75, 78 in the summer, and keep my AC unit set to about 68, 70, more or less. And then I put a fan in front of them to move
Mhm.
that stuff through the house, baby, because that's how airflow works.